If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Hello, Last on the Road subscribers and followers. I saw a post on Facebook the other day. Someone said they were getting ready to start their full-time adventure, but didn't know what this little hole in the side of their camper was. Now, the hole in the side of the camper, and they showed a picture of it, is where you fill your tanks at with clean water, fresh water tank. Well, I don't know if the post was, somebody trying to be funny or not. Of course, everybody was commenting, and I got to thinking about it. Okay, if that is a serious question, because I've seen similar silly questions, are these folks really serious about starting a full-time adventure on something they've never done before to follow their dreams? Their dreams of going out here and living the life of their dreams. And the reason I bring this up is because I have wanted my dream since I was 12 years old. Now, I didn't know exactly what my dream was, but I knew I wanted to be out here in nature. And it all started when I went camping with my cousin one year. Ever since then, I have been working towards my dream. I've been trying to learn as much as I can. When I turned about, 28 years old is when I really started focusing on my dream, whether I realized it or not. But I had to learn so much. I had to learn about solar panels, and I had to learn about electricity and growing my own foods. And as a matter of fact, to talk about electricity, I had to learn how to build. Back in the day, solar panels were very expensive, and you couldn't just go out to the store and buy a whole solar system package. You had to build it. And my first attempt was I bought these little 4x4 inch squares of glass, blue glass, that were little solar cells, and you had to solder each cell together to make a solar panel, like you see today. The glass was very fragile. I mean, just the slightest little touch and they broke, and it was a pointless project. I mean, it just didn't turn out, and I wasted a bunch of money. But that's the point, was I wasted the money throughout my life. So the expense is much more costly than just going out and buying your camper or saving up some money so you can. The cost is astronomical. Well, while I was learning how to build a solar panel, I also had to learn all about DC electric, and I had to learn how to wire it up and how to charge batteries and how to run an inverter. There was a lot that went into just learning about electricity. And so now today, when I have an electrical issue, I know exactly what the problem is. I know how to fix it, and I can fix it with minimal tools. So my point is don't come out here or the day before you come out here and try to learn everything you need to learn. It takes a lifetime to learn. That brings me to the point, are you even ready to come out here? Are you ready to deal with some of the things that you have to deal with? Today is June 16th. And most of the country is enjoying very hot temperatures. As a matter of fact, I hear a lot of people complaining about very hot temperatures. I happen to be in South Dakota, near the Badlands, so hopefully you will notice in the background that it is raining, cold, and wet. It is 54 degrees today, and the wind is blowing about 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts, and you could be forgiven if you made the mistake and thought it was late fall or early winter. It is just cold, wet. Have you really thought about some of the things that you're going to have to deal with on a daily basis? We can't even leave this campground because I'm afraid we're going to get stuck because the roads are kind of a dirt road. So it's better that we stay here until it dries out. Now, it's going to rain for 2 days straight. When you get to these locations, it's not like, we can just move on to the next location. No, we're stuck here. One of the other things that I had to learn while I was developing the skills to come live whatever my adventure was when I was 28 years old or 30 years old was I had to learn how to save money. More importantly, I had to learn how to not spend money. Right now, the only thing that I am focused on is living this adventure, not having all kinds of fancy things. Since the fire, Carolyn and I only have 2 sets of clothes. Take a shower and we change into those clothes. So we wash our clothes the same day that we take the shower. That is an example of not spending money. One of the things that we don't do is we don't go into the tourist activities because our dream is more important than seeing the tourist traps things. It's cold, wet, and rainy. Well, this morning I got up and I started a generator like I do every morning, and I went to plug it in with our extension cord that runs from the generator to the camper, and I noticed that the cord was chewed on. Something had chewed it overnight, laying on the ground. Well, I already said we can't leave here. I can't go get a new one. Well, that means I had to repair it, and it means I had to have the knowledge to repair it, and hopefully have the tools to repair it. And then you have to make the decision when you get back inside, do you want to warm your camper up with propane heat? This is a big deal. And a lot of people ask this question. Does propane heat cause condensation? Well, not necessarily. No, propane heat doesn't cause condensation. You can, on a dry day and it's cold, you can turn on propane heat and it's fine. It keeps you warm. But on a wet day like this, boy, I mean, the condensation is terrible. Everything gets wet. So you have to make the decision. Do you want to live in a wet environment and possibly have mold growing, or do you want to be cold on a June day? Don't be fooled into thinking that the dream is always going to be a great adventure and day after day things are going to go well. Usually, like I've said many times, the good, the bad, and the ugly, usually you get the bad and the ugly. We've enjoyed several days of nice conditions, everything's gone well, nothing, but all of a sudden, just all in one day, everything goes bad. The generator is a lifeline for us. We have to have the generator. On days that the thing doesn't work, do you have some basic knowledges to identify what's wrong with it and repair it? The other day, I couldn't get the darn thing to start. Couldn't get it to start. I knew what was wrong was the gas had probably gone bad or gotten wet, and I had to dump the gas out. Well, you're out here in the national grasslands. You're not wanting to pour gas on the ground, so you have to find a container to hold a gallon's worth of gas that you can dump later. So you end up having to sacrifice one of your water drinking bottles to deal with the generator. Do you have the tools to work on the generator? Now remember, if you have tools, that creates weight, that creates cost. All this has to be considered. And it takes a lifetime to think about these things. I really want you to consider, what is your dream? If you say, oh, my dream is to go out and travel the country, has that always been your dream? Or is this something that someone has talked you into and you think it's a good idea? Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video. And happy travels.